Welcome to part 9. In this tutorial, we're going to be looking at the listing groups in M2EPro and the ones that we're going to need to be adding for our new eBay site.
That's right, and we're setting up M2EPro to do 2 additional eBay sites. And in this tutorial, funny enough, we're going to be making 2 new listing groups within M2EPro. And it's going to be really interesting for you to see how deep the integration is with Magento and M2EPro. It's that you'll see it really is just like you go into that local site. So maybe you're going to the UK, maybe you're going to Australia, Germany, France, Spain, the US, Canada, for example. It's just like go into those sites locally, and you're going to see the specializations or the customizations eBay have got for those different sites and see how they're reflected back in M2EPro within Magento. Now, Dave, remember right back to the beginning about creating policies? Remember those?
I do, yeah. Back in some of the first tutorials we did, yeah.
Yeah, second course for M2EPro. We set these policies up, and it's that time again. So we're going to be creating policies for payment, shipping, returns, price, description, and also synchronization. Okay, now you may or may not need synchronization. Depends upon what your requirements are. Again, we'll point that one out to you as well. And also, what directly follows this video tutorial is that we're going to show you how to customize your listing templates for international selling. So how you can customize the links and the tags and the titles of the different listing templates using Widgetchimp as well. So anyway, Dave, with that said, let's get into this.
Let's do it.
Follow us along in your system, and we'll see you in Magento in a few moments' time. So starting from the dashboard, we need to go and create these additional listing groups within Magento. And again, once you've seen one, the second one's really straightforward. So let's go up to Sell on eBay, and then into Listings at the top. And this is where you're going to have your existing listing groups. Now, we call these listing groups, and M2EPro call these listings, something which we've pointed out to them a couple of times now, that it is a little bit confusing. But what we've got on this screen right here are groups of listings. So you can see down here, you could just have one, or you could have multiple eBay listings within these groups. So let's go and add our first listing group. Let's pick Australia first because it's in English and it's a nice easy one to begin with. So on the right hand side where it says add listing, click into that button, and on the next page, this is where we want to name this. So we're going to call this eBay DE, and then we're going to call it default. And the reason why we're calling it default is because in our description policy, we're going to be assigning the default attribute set for all of our products.
Matt, is this one not the Australian one? Would this one not need to be AU?
That would be absolutely correct, Dave. So let's go and change that to eBay AU, just like so.
Yeah. Everyone thinks Matt's the expert, but he's just a puppet. I'm pulling the strings behind the scenes. Lol.
Yes, Dave, we're going to choose eBay AU. And crucially, where it says eBay site, this is where we're going to drop this down and we're going to go and choose Australia, not Germany, for this one. And then down at the bottom, Dave, this is the crucial step. We created those store views. This is how we tell Magento and M2EPro to now assign these orders to the new store view. So where it says Magento store view, drop this down and then choose eBay AU. Okay, that's the crucial step there. And of course, once you've been in set those settings, we've got eBay AU-default. We've chosen our eBay site is Australia. And we've also been and changed our Magento store view to eBay AU. And it's really important that you do this now, because once you've been and created this listing group within M2EPro, you can't change this setting. So make sure you get those settings right now. So AU default for the title, which you can edit, I hasten to add. Choose your eBay site and make sure you choose your new store view from here. Again, it is a store disabled one, but M2EPro does still allow you to use it. Choose eBay AU or whatever the site is for that, and then click on the next button in the top right hand corner. Again, I'll break this into stages for you. So let me just scroll down here a moment. Is that we now need to do our payment settings. you may notice that there are some additional settings in here. So if you natively sell on eBay UK, for example, there's some extra options in here. And the reason why there's extra options in here, because we chose the Australian eBay site. Now we're just going to set ours up as an immediate payment required. So I've got PayPal accepted is ticked, PayPal email address, we've got our immediate payment required, and then where it says save as new policy, we're going to click on there, and then this is where, again, just a little helpful tip for you for the naming convention, eBay AU payment policy, like so, and then click on confirm. So that's that one done. Now we need to do our shipping. Okay, so this is where you would leave your country as your native country. You would enter your postcode or state as required. Now, when it comes to shipping, you know how you're going to be shipping your products. Okay, so we're just going to choose whatever the first option is in the list, if we're frankly honest. So click on to add shipping method, and then you've got select shipping service, and aha, can you see the options which we've now got in here, Dave?
I can indeed. It seems to have picked up automatically that we are from outside of Australia and is showing us delivery options which are sort of applicable to us.
That's right. Now, a little note here is that if you did have a fulfillment center, so imagine that you are based in the UK and you did have a fulfillment center in Australia, then you would be perfectly within your rights to change your country to Australia and then choose one of the local options. However, I'm guessing that's probably not the case, and you'll probably want to choose economy delivery from outside. You'll want to choose your mode. Again, you can either choose free, so free shipping from the UK, and then maybe you'll load in your shipping prices into the item sale price. And again, the reason why we've shown you how to create a separate attribute for the pricing for Magento and M2EPro. You could also enter a custom value. Maybe you want to just put in $4.99. Now, a note here is that this is in Australian dollars. This is not pound sterling. This isn't euros or USD, whatever your native currency is. This is in Australian dollars. Don't let that catch you out. You can see the currency code in here, AUD. And Dave, this is the reason why we're not getting warnings about currencies.
Because it knows.
Because it knows, and back in the earlier tutorial, we set up M2EPro and Magento to have the correct currency code in there. Okay, so just a big tip here, that whatever price you're putting in here is per product in Australian dollars or whatever the currency code you've got in there. And of course, then you can add in additional settings as required, and let's put a custom value in there, I don't know, $19.99. And again, you may also want to put an additional cost in per product as well. Dispatch time, now that's going to reflect your internal dispatch time, so you can leave that as 1 business day. You may also be able to set that to same business day. Again, I don't know how quickly you're able to dispatch your products, but just for the sake of example, I'm going to leave that as 1 business day. I'm not going to set a combined shipping profile or promotional rule. Now, the note here for international shipping is that you don't want to enable that, because remember, this is just like you going to ebay.com and hitting the sell your item form on that local site. Okay, so ebay.com.au, get that right. And again, I would suggest that you don't have the international shipping option enabled. Okay, and again, you can put exclusions in if you want to as well. We're going to save this as a new policy, so eBay AU, and then shipping, because that's our shipping policy. Then click on confirm, and that will now compress upwards. Now we need to do our returns policy, and again, you're going to need to check the ratings or the settings which you need to adhere to maintain ETRS, or eBay top rated seller, in these international sites as well. Again, it should be pretty much the same for all the sites now, but do spend a few moments just to go and do your research on those as well. Now, with that said, I'm just going to leave it there as the defaults. I'm just going to press save as a new policy, eBay AU hyphen returns, confirm, job done. Next up, press next step in the top right hand corner. Now, this is our selling settings, so this is going to be our price and quantity and format. In there, it's also going to be our description settings as well. Now, we're going to show you how to set this up for fixed price, because it's the most likely method of what you're going to be using. So list in type, we've left that as fixed price. We're going to leave private listing as no. Scrolling down, we're also going to be assuming that you have an eBay store as well. So we're going to change the listing duration from 3 days to good to cancelled. You'll probably want to enable out of stock control. And a little note here is that if any of these options don't make any sense to you at all, just hover your mouse on the little question mark on the right hand side and it will give you more detail for each of these. Now, it's up to you whether you enable conditional quantity. If you've got a very large number of products, then we would strongly suggest that you do have that enabled. And of course, if you have a small to medium sized amount of products, then you may want to disable that. Again, we've got separate video tutorials on this topic, and just look up performance settings within the Understanding each site. And we've got a dedicated tutorial on there for high transaction and high inventory and high volume businesses which use Magento and M2EPro. Now, we did say this was going to be set up for the default attribute set in Magento, and what that means to me and Dave, and probably you as well, is that that does not include variations. So we've got ignore variations. We're going to change that to yes. Okay, and that's specific to us. Okay, that's how we've shown you how to set up Magento and M2EPro, is not to use the default attribute set for variations, and instead create separate attribute sets, because it just makes it easier for you longer term. And again, if you're in any doubt on that one, leave that one as no. Scrolling down, I'm actually just going to avoid the VAT and the taxation settings. Now, you'll also note there is a little note in here. There is no rate for GBP to AUD, so pound sterling to AUD, in the currency rates. And the reason why that is because that's like the cheaty way of doing it, and we don't think that's right for you. Okay, we're showing you how to do this with maximum control. And again, M2EPro is very flexible. So when we go and set our price, which we're going to do right now, you get absolute control. Whereas this other way is automated, you don't get ready control, and basically you're missing out on profit. And me and Dave don't want that. We want you to be a success and to make lots of money. So that's why we're not showing you that, and that's why we're going to ignore that error message. Now, moving on into the price, where it says product price, this is where we can now select our special price, eBay price AU. So that's now going to be our price, which is going to come from our product in Magento. So maybe we had a price, an item which is now being converted into Australian dollars and comes out at maybe $19.99. That's the value which we've entered back in our product, and this is how we tell Magento and M2EPro to use that price attribute which we set up in the earlier tutorial. Now again, you'd probably want to set your pricing from your associated products, again if you are using variations within this listing group. If you do have strike-through pricing available, okay, now just pausing for a moment. If that is you and you know what that means, you know that eBay have just enabled it for a small subset of eBay accounts. What we would suggest, go and create a separate attribute in Magento and then call it eBay price AU strike through. Assign it to all of your attribute sets, to kind of just like what you saw us do a couple of tutorials ago. We're going to leave that as none. Scrolling down, that's pretty much the end of our price, quantity, and format settings. Okay, so this one here, so let me just get back down to where we were. I'm going to click on Save as New Policy, eBay AU, price, and I'm also going to put in GTC. Okay, so for good till cancelled. So if I ever come back to this policy, I know what it's doing off the top of my head. We can see what it says. So let's go and click confirm on that one. The next one is our description policy. So let me just scroll back up a touch. There we go. So we're assuming that you're selling new products, so we're going to leave that in there. Base image, gallery images. Now, I'm actually going to set this up to 11, and I'm also going to turn the gallery on. Now, our biggest tip for you, okay, and we'll include this later on, is that follow the same settings as what we're entering. But when we go to list a product, what we're going to make a point is that you actually check your billing history on eBay to make sure you did get charged the right amount and there aren't any hidden surprises, because maybe in eBay Australia that you get charged a much higher rate than what you do in the UK, for example, for having the gallery enabled, just as an example. So we will make a note of that later on. Just going through these settings. So next up, we've got the title. So let's drop that down and choose custom title. And this time, I'm not going to choose eBay price. I'm going to go down and choose eBay title AU and then click insert. Now, a little tip here is that M2EPro does include an extra space at the beginning, so I'm just going to delete that out. And this is how you tell M2EPro to use the eBay title AU rather than your normal Magento or normal eBay title from any other attribute within your system. And that's how you can have a custom title just for eBay Australia. And again, you can go on and do similar settings for the subtitles if you wanted to. And we would also strongly suggest that you do leave the option called cut long titles as enabled and yes. Now, we're also just going to skip over the product description because we're going to cover that off in the next video tutorial. Again, you may also want to set any of the eBay identifiers as required. And maybe you've got an EAN, for example, which is set in your system. So we go down, that's an attribute which we've got here. And then you can change your settings as required. That's really up to you. And again, you'll know this from your setup in your business on eBay. So for the gallery type, we're going to choose gallery picture. Okay, the hit counter, we're going to choose that to hidden style, again, because that does turn up and get shown within your My eBay section. And again, you need to check the settings on here. Again, do your research for the pricing on the different eBay sites. With that said, save as new policy, eBay AU, description, like so. And then go and click on confirm. Next up, click on the next step button in the top right hand corner. Now, this is really up to you whether you want custom synchronization settings for the international sites. In our case, for simplicity, we're not going to do that. But you could add in customized settings as required. Okay, you can have different revise rules, relist rules, and stop rules as required for the international site. And again, if you do make some changes here and you do want to set them up, just make the changes as required. Click on Save as New Policy, eBay AU, hyphen, and then synchronization, and then click on confirm. And Dave, that's it.
Hey!
Excellent. So we're going to click on next step, top right hand corner. Now a little note here is that M2EPro is now going to want you to add products so that you can then go and list onto the sites. Okay, but the way to get out of that so you don't get caught in this loop is just to go back to the top, hover on sell on eBay, then click into listings, and you'll then see that you've got this new listing group in here. You've named it aptly eBay AU. So imagine you've got lots of listing groups within Magento and M2EPro. You could now search for eBay AU like so, press search, and you're just going to get those groups back just for Australia. Okay, that's where the naming convention comes in really easy. And you can also see that the eBay site has been set on here for Australia, and also our Magento store view has been set up. And again, in our case, Marketplace English, and then that friendly name which we added, which was eBay AU. Now, Dave, that time around, I was going quite slow and paused in for the different sections. Just pick up the pace now because we're going to go and do the same for Germany. eBay DE, default, because that's the attribute set, which we're assuming is being set for the description policy. eBay site, we're going to change that to Germany. Again, crucially, making sure that you also choose your eBay store view, choose your Magento store view as eBay DE. Again, assuming that you've followed us along and doing the same ones as us. Okay, so just make sure you've got your eBay site is set correctly and your eBay store is set correctly. And of course, if you've got multiple eBay accounts, then you could change that there as well. Clicking next. And again, I am going to go really quickly here now. PayPal, really straightforward. DE hyphen payment. And again, just for speed, I'm just going to copy that. Confirm.
I like it.
Now going down, shipping method. Aha, look, Dave, this is in German. And look, our currency. So you don't get caught out on this one. The currency is now in euros. So I don't know what they actually mean because unfortunately I don't speak German.
We've got FedEx and TNT. FedEx will do.
Yeah, FedEx will do. Okay, I'm going to stick about a €9.99 in there. Again, of course, you could then go in and add additional ones, save the policy, like so. Returns policy, I don't know. This is where you get Google Translate out and obviously spend a little bit more time than what I'm about to do, which is just go and press save policy.
So 14 days it is.
14 days it is. Oh, and of course you need to be aware of like European distance selling regulations and things like that. And also VAT and things like that, which we do have a podcast on, Dave, which will be out in the next week or two. So do check the blog at understandinge.com/blog. And we do have an interview with a lovely lady called Claire, which we discussed the topic of VAT and some of the pitfalls and some of the benefits actually of registering for VAT in multiple countries within Europe. Anyway, I digress. Coming back onto this one, like I said, we're just going to set that up as good till cancelled. Leave the settings as required in here. The price is the biggie. Okay, so where it says product price, we're going to drop that down and choose eBay price DE. And again, we assume that we want associated products. Let's go and save that down as price and quantity, wasn't it? Price and quantity, like so. Click confirm. Now that all jumps back up again. Our description policy, and again, I'm not hanging around on this one, just leaving it as new. I want gallery pictures up to 11. Scroll down. Title, change this, custom title. Now we want our eBay title DE and insert, and we're just going to get rid of that little extra space at the beginning, like so. We're going to cut long titles. We're going to leave the description policy alone because, again, we're going to cover that in a separate tutorial which comes up next. Gallery type, we're going to leave that as gallery picture. Save as new policy. eBay description. Confirm. Aha! I'm going to call that number 2. Sorry, we've done our homework in the background. Go and click next. I obviously didn't delete that one, Dave. And then our synchronization policy as well. Now, let's copy that. eBay DE hyphen synchronization. Confirm. Job done. Next step. Excellent. So, in fact, Dave, we can visually see here eBay DE default. There's our eBay ID. There's our eBay site. And there's the store view which it's been applied to. So we now go back to listings at the top. Oh, we need to reset that filter. And we've now got a new listing group, or another new listing group within Magento. And that's for our German site and that's for our Australian site. Now, I'm going to point out one other section for you. We've just been and created all of these additional policies within our Magento system. Again, if you're following us along, you would have just done the same too. So if you go to sell on eBay, then into configuration from the top menu, then go to policies on the left-hand side, and it's in here is our new policies which we've added. So in the title, eBay DE, okay, this is why the naming convention comes in really handy because you can type in eBay DE and now you've got all of your policies within here as well. And oh look, there's my duplicate from when we set it up a couple of weeks back. Well, actually back in June. Again, that's just why the naming convention comes in really, really handy because you could do the same for eBay AU and there's all your policies. Really straightforward. Now, one piece of homework for you. If you've been following us along and you have multiple listing groups set up for your native eBay site, so let me just explain what I mean by that. So I've gone to sell on eBay, into listings, and in here we've got a default listing group. We've got one for our size variations, one for our shoe size, and our other attribute sets. If that's you, because you've followed us along from the previous tutorials, you're now going to want to rinse and repeat this process and go and create the additional listing groups within M2EPro. So again, I'm just going to point out, this is actually going to be really easy for you. Okay, so I've just clicked on add listing. I'm just going to call this test, and let me go and choose Australia from here and eBay AU. Click next. Now, instead of you having to fill out all these settings again, you don't need to do this for the other groups because you can drop this box down, and because you've been and created a policy for eBay Australia or whichever site you're setting this up for, you can select this option. So this is suddenly going to get really quick. All right, really, really quickly. Okay, price and format. So there's that one there. Then crucially is this is where you want to change your attribute sets. Okay, so we come to the description. Maybe we've set this one up for size, Dave. is that crucially, and again, I'm going to pause and highlight this on the screen for you, where it says change images for attribute, drop that down, choose the configurable attribute, because remember, that's what's going to cause the images to swap on eBay. So as a size variation, maybe a better example is color. So if you've got an item which is in different colors, and then enter the settings like you would do normally. Again, I'm just speeding over this. Enter the gallery or any of the additional settings that's required. Save the template. Okay, so eBay, AU, for example, and then description, and then size on the end. So you now know that this description policy is for eBay Australia. It's a description policy, and it's for the size attribute set, or maybe color, because that's why I had set there a few moments ago, and then click on confirm. So that's a little bit of homework for you. Go through and fill out the rest of the settings so that you have a copy from the UK, so whatever your base or native eBay site is. So if you've got size, shoe size main color, and so on and so forth, you've then got a replica of that for each additional eBay site that you've just been added. And it's just the description policy which you need to tweak and then just save that aptly. So with that said, Dave, from myself, Matt.
And from me, Dave.
Cheerios. So for myself, Matt, and of course Dave too, we both hope that you found this tutorial helpful. If you did, we'd both really appreciate a thumbs up on YouTube, either at the top of this video or down at the bottom.
So on screen right now, we have the next part of this tutorial. So if you just click on the next tutorial button, which is in the top right hand part of the screen, you'll head on over there right now.
If you would like to be notified of the latest video tutorials that myself and Dave publish on YouTube, then also press the subscribe button underneath this video as well.
And with that said, we'll see you in the next tutorial.
Matt
and Dave.